It is so nice to be back in Korea. I love it here. It's an honor to be here, and we're so grateful for the time that you take from the many things that you have in your life to be here. It is an important day. Didn't Al Bala do an incredible job? Let's give a big round of applause for Al Bala. I've been with the company now for about 2 years. And after about 6 months, I went to Al and I went to the board of directors. And I said, we have a problem. What we're seeing from our biggest leaders, what we're seeing from our fastest growing markets is very different than what we are sharing with the world through our brand experience. We have to rebrand the company. And I was a little nervous because I didn't know what they were going to say, but they were very enthusiastic about it. They understood that it was something that needed to be done. We needed a brand experience that was consistent with what you all are, what you all represent, something vibrant, something modern. And so we wanted to answer this question of who are we? And so it wasn't something that I was going to answer or that people on the marketing team back in Coppell, Texas were going to answer. We had to come and see you in your country. We had to come here, we had to go to Japan, we needed to meet with the Australians and the South Africans and the Canadians. In fact, we met with more than 500 people in focus groups around the world. 500 people. That's very uncommon. In fact, the group that we met with, or that we hired, the company that we hired, they work with very, very large companies. And they said this was the largest number of individuals that they've had involved in the qualitative or the focus group side of research. And we learned wonderful things. We heard thousands and thousands of different responses, and we started to see some patterns. We then hired another company, another research company, and they worked on the quantitative research, and they reviewed all of the patterns, they reviewed all of the data, and they helped us complete a survey. It was translated into 5 or 6 additional languages, and we had more than 3,000 people respond and complete this survey. And from that we learned wonderful things about what Manatech is today. So I want to share just a handful of the things that you all shared with us about Manatech. One of the things that you told us is that at times we're a little complex. There's a lot going on. And that's not always a bad thing, but we need to make things simpler. We have products that change lives. We have a business opportunity that allows people to be entrepreneurs. It's very exciting, but we weren't doing as good a job making it simple. You also told us that we're very product-oriented, and that's a very good thing. We know that our products, that you can share them with people. You can share them with friends. You can share them with people you hardly know. And most of them will have an incredible, life-changing experience. The challenge is that we've not made it simple. Shortly after I joined the company, I met with a person who at one point in time had been a silver presidential, and his business was failing. And I wanted to understand. One of the things that he told me was that his first question when he meets with a brand new person was, do you have 30 to 45 minutes? And I thought that was a curious way to start an introduction to Manatech. And he said, well, no, I need 30 to 45 minutes because that's how long it takes to explain our technology. So our technology is wonderful, but if you're taking 30 to 45 minutes to explain it in detail, you've lost most people. You're trying to convince them with logic and science. And the only person that I know who can share logic and science and sell people like crazy is our own Dr. Nugent. He's the only one. No one else should try. So it's very good that our products are incredible. But we as a company, maybe we've been too focused on products. But it's not negative things. You also told us many, many good things about Manatech, including that our very best years are ahead of us, that we have something wonderful to share with the world, that we are a company of destiny. Who would agree with that? You agree we're a company of destiny? I see lots of hands. That's very good. So among all of the things that you told us about Manatech, we are also a brand. So what is a brand? I know that there are about 500 of you who are there at Manifest, so you'll forgive me. You're going to see some of this for the second time. So a brand is anything that makes a person feel better or worse about a company. It's not a logo. It's not just a tagline. It's the products. It's how the products look. It's the box that the products ship in. It's the website. It's emails. It's when somebody calls customer service. It's when they meet any employee. There's so many things that go into a brand. It's anything that makes somebody feel better or worse about the company. So the way that we define that, and you heard some of this from Al, a brand is a bundle of perceptions, these thoughts and feelings that you have about a brand. Because a company doesn't define what the brand is. Who defines what a brand, what a person thinks about the brand? Each of you decide what that brand means to you. As a company, we only hope to be able to influence it. So we needed to understand what those perceptions are, what they can be. Think about some of your favorite brands. Adidas. Does that feel different as a brand than Nike? It feels a little different. Toyota feels different than Kia. We each have feelings, we each have perceptions about brands. A company's job is to help influence them. So the way that we did that is this was our model, composed of two major parts. We want to find out who the brand is, and we do that by learning about the heritage or the history of the company, about the personality of the company, because just like people, brands have different personalities. And then the sensory or the visual assets that a company has. Then the second half of the model is what. That is, what the brand provides. And so, functional benefits, that's what the product actually does. So why do you have a car? Doesn't matter what kind of car. Functionally, a car gets you from one place to another place. That's not very exciting. But that's how we have sold Manatech for very long. We've talked about the function. Function isn't as exciting as the emotion. And I'll share an example right away. So self-expressive benefits are, what does it say about me that I use a brand? What does it say about me that I like, that I want to drive a Porsche or a BMW? It may mean that I have good taste, that I'm successful. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel like I have a full head of hair. It's okay to laugh. And then the emotional benefits. These are the most important. Brand, all aspects of the brand are important, but it's the emotional benefits that are most important. Can we advance the slide? I don't know if the clicker's not working. There we go. Emotional. Emotional is most important. So let me share a quick example. In North America, in the 70s, there was an advertising campaign that was called the Pepsi Challenge. There we go. And it was where people would taste, they were blank cups, and people would walk up and they would say, try this one and try this one. And it was Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola. They didn't know that at the time. But overwhelmingly, what this advertising campaign showed is that people preferred the taste of Pepsi. And then they would show, oh, you preferred Pepsi, and people would act surprised. Well, Coca-Cola, they freaked out. That's an American term. They got very nervous. And they tested hundreds and hundreds of different formulas until they came up with one that in blind taste tests performed better than Coca-Cola. They called it New Coke.